back. 12 laps of action for the final time this weekend at Donington Park, about to get underway. It is all eyes on the red lights as we wait for them now to come on, and we wait for the revs to rise. Lights out and we're underway. Great launch from Brad Ray. Nice one as well from Carl Ride. Not so good from Scott Redding up the front row. He's out dragged by Christian Idden as we come down towards the third corner and get swamped. Look though as well at Rory Skinner on the Cheshire Mouldings Ducati, up through from the second row to third.
Yeah, terrible start from Scott Redding. Was asleep there, just didn't release the clutch and get it going quick enough.
So down into the crater curves and into the old hairpin we go. Brad Ray holds the lead of the race. He's going to go for the lunge on the inside. He loved that in race 3 earlier on this afternoon, and he's up into third already. Did he run it a bit deep? He did.
Yes, he
Skinner's back through.
Yeah, that was the classic cut back at the old hairpin.
Nicely done there from Christian Idden. So Scott Redding now with a bit of fighting back to do. Got Leon Haslam directly behind him, and Tommy Bridewell as well, the lone Honda in this race.
Yeah, Christian feels that if he doesn't get away with him, or he gets away, it's that he's not making his way forward with that bike. He just thinks that it's a lovely bike, but he just doesn't have the pace down the straight and have a pass in it.
Yeah, seems to be the Achilles heel of that Kawasaki. Redding deep on the brakes. He's going to go to the runoff area.
Got to do.
Yeah, and he's just overcompensating for that poor start, isn't he? And he's given himself now even more work to do.
Yes, he has, because he's got to not gain a place, which he didn't, but he's got to drop a second in that sector.
He didn't go for a tighter line in towards the Melbourne Loop.
Which I'm not sure he's done.
No, doesn't seem to have worked so far there for Christian Idden, but he's got the inside line against Leon Haslam.
Race direction will be looking at that off track by that run on by Scott Redding.
I think you're right, yeah.
If he hasn't dropped a second, then they'll look at the times.
Yeah, they will do. Glenn Irwin's a little bit wide on the curve there as well. That might leave him under pressure from Fraser Rogers down in 12th place. At the moment is Glenn Irwin. So we begin the second lap. Bradley Ray it is that leads. Carl Ryan in second. Rory Skinner up to third. Scott Redding, though, with a dismal start to this fourth and final race, has left himself with a lot of work to do and a possible look at by race direction. Here comes Skinner, looking to the inside, into the old hairpin, but sweeping. Bit of momentum there.
Cost himself a lot of time there as well.
Oh, look at that. And what has Carl Ride done? He's turned it into the race lead. Absolutely textbook from Carl Ride, back into the front once more.
And to do that there with such confidence on the front end.
Yeah, loving it from Carl Ride this weekend. He's a big fan. Looks like Redding's just dropped behind Max Cook as well. He's down into 9th place. So this is a cacophony of mistakes coming through from Scott Redding.
Yes, it is.
Leaving vulnerable here to attack from Storm Stacey and Charlie Nesbitt as they come down in towards the foggy S's.
Haslam's going well here. Leon Haslam in 4th.
Yeah, he's having a good run. You were down chatting to him on the grid. Seemed quite optimistic.
He always is. He's optimistic without being that bullish. Knows his way around here. One of the most experienced on the grid.
Yeah, he's got a plethora of BSB races to his name. Of course, former champion as well.
Yes.
He's out to pedal a BSB bike. Let's see whether he can latch onto the back of Rory Skinner as we come down the back straight and head in towards the S-Men's once more. So nose-to-tail action between the top 4. Of course, these being sprint races, shorter in duration. Idden was a little bit wide there.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
I think that might leave him vulnerable to attack from Tommy Bridewell down into the Melbourne Loop. Bridewell moves over. He's got the inside line. What about Josh Brooks as well? We've hardly spoken about him this weekend. He's there ready to try and pick up the pieces inside the top 10.
There he is on the Dow bike, number 25.
Yeah, he's having a good run of things, is Josh Brooks. 1 top 10 finish so far this weekend. Just 1 podium finish is the highlight of his season so far on board that Dow Honda. Redding there, mired behind him as well. You can see the work that Scott Redding's got to do. It's all gone wrong for him here this afternoon after what has been one of the strongest since his return.
Yeah, and a couple of mistakes has made the difference, and that's not like him. We watched him doing 6, 7, 8, 9 laps in practice, absolutely metronomic and perfectly on track. You know, within a couple of inches each lap of his perfect line.
Well, let's see what happens then here for Scott Redding. Cork at the bottom looks to be Tommy Bridewell, because there's a bit of a gap between Bridewell and Leon Haslam that's just up the road. About 1.5 seconds or so separating those riders. So let's see whether if anyone can get behind, in front of Bridewell rather, that they can make some moves and try and close that deficit down to Haslam in 4th. Over the crest of the hill, through Coppice we go.
Yeah, big double apex at Coppice. You clip the apex going in, you run it a little bit wide mid-corner, you're on the gas then, going from 3rd to 4th and 5th gear as you exit the corner.
Oh, Josh Brooks lays on the brakes.
Lovely.
That's absolutely wonderful from the Australian. Moves ahead of Christian Idden up through to 6th place. Look at this. on the inside.
All changed at the front.
It has, yeah. It's all kicked off while we were looking at what was happening further behind. So now we've got Brad Ray who's leading and Rory Skinner through into second.
Yeah, a rare mistake from Kyle Wright, that.
Yeah, must have made a bit of an error. And the upshot is he's now down to third place. Now, Brad Ray out in front, clear track in front of him. As I said, made a couple of changes to the bike between race 3 and 4. But what about Rory Skinner in the Cheshire Mouldings Ducati? Because he's looking like he's going to send one through on the inside of the old hairpin. And he does. Nice one on the inside and into the race lead for Rory Skinner. Oh, Carl Wright's ready to pick Brad Ray's pocket as well. He loves that move. He's done it a couple of times already this weekend, and he makes it stick through back to second.
If you can make that move stick, there is no way back. It will stick, but it's unusual for it to be as clean as it is.
All the while they're fighting as well. It's just drawing them back into the likes of Tommy Bridewell, Josh Brooks, etc. Not by too much at the moment, but if they start squabbling a bit more, it might bring a few more riders into contention here. Here's Josh Brooks on the inside of Tommy Bridewell down to Redgate, sits Bridewell up.
Yeah.
So into 5th place then for Josh Brooks. He's had a great run on board that Dow Honda. Whatever they've changed in terms of the setup between the races, it's working quite nicely for the Aussie. Tommy Bridewell then, I wondered if he might be the cork in the bottle. The question is now, will we see Brooks streaking away and creating a gap to the Honda rider? Penny for the thoughts as well of Scott Redding inside the crash helmet. I think he'll be pretty disappointed with how this race has panned out.
Yeah, looked like the man to beat as we went into the races.
Yeah, 2 AJ Steel Stock Kawasaki's line astern behind as well of Christian Hidden and Max Cook. Was speaking to Max and said to him, what have you been changing for the race? He said, to be honest, we've done quite a lot between the race this afternoon and this one. He said, we've changed the engine braking, new throttle map and so on. He said, basically, when I'm going into the corner, it's just not stopping, it's running on.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the braking is done when you're in a straight line with the front brake. That makes the back of the bike light, that makes the rear tyre lift off the ground, but you do want some hold back from the back, especially when you let the front brake off a little bit and turn into the corner.
So out of the Melbourne loop we go. There is Scott Redding, the number 4, the man who started this race on the outside of the front row, and he's now challenging Tommy Bridewell for 6th position.
Yeah, not where he wants to be.
No, not at all. And, a bit of a disappointing end to all has been otherwise, as we say, a very strong weekend, but he's lining up a move here for Bridewell, down into the first corner, into Redgate, set that one up nicely, good exit out of the final turn, through on the inside, and up into 6th position then for the Hager PBM Ducati rider.
Yeah, Brooks does indeed put his fastest lap of the racing last time round, now he's got clear of this battle.
Yeah, the front end of the race, it all seems pretty even Stevens in terms of the pace between Skinner, Ride and Ray. So down into that final corner we go. Rory Skinner it is that will lead.
Backing him up.
Yeah, he's waiting until he gets on the gas. So 4 laps to go then at the end of this one. It's going to be a sprint to the checkered flag with Skinner leading the way and Leon Haslam trying to pick the pocket already of Bradley Ray up the inside into Redgate. He's going to force his way through on the Moto Rapido Ducati and into 3rd. That might open the door here for Josh Brooks as well, as Scott Redding had a bit of a wobble coming out of Redgate there too.
Yeah, I think Brad Ray got caught napping there by Leon Haslam.
And he's going to have to do all the work all over again. He's sending it to the inside of the old hairpin.
Can't stop it though.
No, can't get it stopped. And Leon Haslam holds firm in 3rd place for now.
Rory's got good pace here.
Yeah, he's looking good.
Yeah.
He's looking good on the Cheshire Mouldings Ducati. He's had a win so far this season, if you remember, back on the hill. Yeah, his own circuit, of course, but very impressed that team have been with his adaptation to the Ducati.
Yeah, and the team had to adapt as well, because they've not run one before, and they're a little bit different, single-sided swing arm, different chassis, take a little bit of getting the data to.
And let's see whether the bunching of the field will present an opportunity for some of the other riders. Into the Fogarty Yeses we go, and Skinner, you can see he's pounced already, and Ryan is going with him. He's trying to build daylight between themselves and Leon Haslam to leave the riders behind to squabble for the final podium places.
Is Kyle Wright going to be happy enough to sit behind Rory and not take a risk if his championship rival's behind him?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you do in that situation?
Probably crash trying. Quite honest.
Well, let's see how it all works out then. We come to the end of lap 9. 3 to go then at the end of this one. And here comes Scott Redding on the inside of Bradley Ray. He's made a great restart to this one, has Scott Redding. And now he's through on Ray, so he's up into 4th.
You called it. It just gave him that opportunity.
He did well, did Scott Redding, making amends after a challenging start to his race. I don't think he's going to trouble the top two because they look like they're clearing off into a different postcode, but if he can salvage a podium out of this one, he'll be pretty pleased with that. Meanwhile, Brad Ray is also, of course, going to want to be trying to do exactly the same as that with his championship rival in second.
He's got behind him in the form of resurgent Josh Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks and Brydwell. Oh, look at that send to the inside there for it, and he just lunged it through on Tommy Bridewell. I think he ran it a bit hot because Bridewell's back in front.
Yeah, and that gave Max Cook, Iden's teammate, a chance as well.
Yeah, the two AJN Steelstock Kawasaki's line astern. Let's see how their race unfolds. Skinner, though, really impressed with his restart. How late is Carl Ryde, though, on the brakes into the foggy
Yes, he missed it a little bit there, and just a foot wide. That cost him a bit of time coming out the corner.
So Brad sixth over the timing line, or fifth actually over the timing line there, with Josh Brooks on the Dow Honda trying to achieve a top five finish.
I think Brad looks to be struggling a little bit here.
Yeah, he does seem to be, doesn't he? Just whether it's
knocked out the rhythm with the pace car or whatever, but
yeah, they've been chasing their tail all weekend. I hope nothing's reared its head.
Just early into this race, it looked at pace. That's the signature move from Carl Ryde. That was brilliant. Rory cuts to the inside.
Yeah,
can't get it back.
No, into McLean's. It's a bit of a Dan Dare to try and send it through on the inside there, and thinks better of it. Onto the grass as we come up the rise into Coppice.
Right, so the man you're looking at, Rory Skinner, should have a little bit of an advantage down this straight if he can get out of Coppice corner quick. Let's have a look.
So we're at the old hairpin at this point here, aren't we? And this is where Ryde is just going to find half an opportunity.
That move is made not at Starkey's Bridge, that's made at the old hairpin and the way he runs through it.
Yeah, he's bolting for it now as well. I'll tell you what, there's a good battle going on for fourth in the championship as well. Haslam and Skinner tied on points for that currently.
That's Brooks in front of Ray now.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw that in the background.
Yeah, Brad Ray continuing to drop back after what was quite a relatively strong start to the race.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he's
understand that.
Yeah, it's sort of how the tables have turned. It was a difficult start for Redding, and it's a better end, and the complete converse for Brad Ray.
One lap to go. Kyle Ryde's done it again. He needs to hit his mark. We've seen a couple of mistakes from Kyle, just a couple of run wides. He doesn't need that, and he should be just accurate now.
Yeah, last time around 1:27.5 for Carl Ryde, relative to everybody else. I mean, he was about 7 tenths quicker than Skinner, who we saw was on the grass, and about 3 or 4 tenths faster than Haslam and Redding behind. Look at him, he's bolting, he's trying to go.
Yep.
No doubt about it, into the old hairpin, and let's see whether Skinner can find somewhere that he's got an advantage to latch onto the back of that Yamaha. What about Redding? He fancies a final place on the podium against his fellow Ducati rider of Leon Haslam. Haslam sits there in third place. There's Josh Brooks going on for the top five.
This isn't not good for Brad Ray, this.
No, it's not. Iden was out into the car park there. It was so wide into McLean's.
Please.
Just about gathered it all up. But yeah, Brad Ray, this is a disappointing end to what has been one of his most challenging weekends of the season so far. Down into the foggy S's for the final time. No moves being made for them, but can they set something up on the exit and maybe lunge going down into the Melbourne Loop?
Without a mistake, Kyle Ryde's got this.
Yeah, I think Kyle has, but what about the final position on the podium? Here comes Scott Redding through on Leon Haslam. Does he get it stopped? He does, just about. Sits up Haslam. Beautiful block pass from Scott Redding as he comes through into the final corner. Carl Ryde surely has got this one in the bag. What a phenomenal day's worth of racing. He takes 3 wins on Sunday here at Donington Park. Ryde wins on the Nitrous Competitions Yamaha ahead of Rory Skinner, and Scott Redding mugs Leon Haslam for the final podium places in the final couple of corners of this race. What a weekend, what a race from Carl Ryde and for the team. They will be absolutely delighted with that one. Celebrations, of course, down at the Cheshire Mouldings Ducati team as well. Another podium for Rory Skinner.
What a weekend for this kid.
Yeah, Carl Ryde. I mean, that was a champion's ride right there. I mean, the number one on his bike, the reigning champion, of course. And in terms of defending his crown, we all thought it was going to go the way of Brad Ray in the first half of the season, such as the dominant performances that we saw.
You know, somebody who didn't?
Who's that?
Kyle Ryde.
Well, yeah.
He didn't panic. I never saw one single panic from that fella all the time he was getting striked by his good mate Brad Ray. Honestly, I never saw him panic.
Yeah, cool as a cucumber for Carl Ryde. And Scott Redding as well. That was a fantastic salvage job of a race, really.
Exactly what we're going to salvage job that, yeah.
Yeah, started off really difficultly and managed to get it all back. He's done a bit of motocross on the slowdown lap as well. Just celebrating with the fans here at Donington Park.
Seems happy enough.
Hey, he's enjoyed himself.